domain. The Talenti Mayeni
No,
is
but
Jacob
I'm saying
Zuma's son.
you are making a characterization here of women. You are characterizing them
by romantic relationships for which we do not have proof. Do you find that appropriate?
In this respect, yes, because it relates to
So you find
corruption.
it appropriate
In
to say
this-
a woman is so and so's mistress without proof thereof? That is appropriate.
Chairman, the proof is in the pudding. There's common cause. It's been admitted. Talenti Mayeni lived at Jacob Zuma's Forest Town house.
And so that qualifies him to be his son.
Chairman, he regularly repeated the fact that Jacob Zuma was his father.
Paulo Sullivan,
Yeah.
may you please stop speaking.
Okay, thank you, Chairman.
It's now time for break. We're coming back at 14 hours. We're going to take the alternate member for 15 minutes from the MKP, followed by Breitenbach from the DA. The four speakers will be Shongwe, Breitenbach, Honorable Tlhopha, Honorable Malema, and then Honorable Mwango. May you please rise and leave the chambers. Your time starts now.
OkaSolomon awusondele la sixoxe. Kuze ngathi ngamdlulela inambala. Wathi umoya mfoka Solomon wena kunentombi othandana nayo. Hello mama. Uphila kanjani? Ngiyaphila. Sabona Mr. Solomon, how are you?
Are you good? I take it they've asked you most of the questions.
Pardon?
They've asked you most of the questions that I wanted to ask, but I'll ask you few. What's in this bag? How much is in this bag?
Sorry?
How much is in this bag?
How much what?
How much money is in this bag?
I have no idea.
Then how do you know that General Mkwanaze had money in his account, in his Louis Vuitton bag? Did you see the money?
I never said there was money in a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Did you see him being given a Louis Vuitton bag as a gift?
No, I didn't see that.
So how come you say you're saying that he was given a gift of a Louis Vuitton bag which he gave to his wife?
If you wait, I'll show you
Were you there?
No,
You were not there.
it was all over
That's the
the,
person who told you.
it was all over it was in the media.
Oh. Oh, it was in the media that President Ramaphosa he bought money and hid it under the sofa. So was that true because it was in the media as well? Does it mean he stole the money?
I'm not saying it's true here. I'm saying these are the allegations.
Do you believe them?
I do.
Do you believe that Ramaphosa stole money?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that.
Did you look at the other one, the Louis Vuitton?
I did.
What did you look at?
What do you mean, what did I look at?
What did you look? You said you looked into it.
I
What
made
did you
some
look into?
inquiries and I
You made
discovered,
some.
yes,
And you never made none on the parliament.
I wasn't involved in that. I wasn't invited to be involved in it.
Were you invited to investigate Pahlani?
No,
So what do you mean when you say you're not invited when the Pala issue?
Well, nobody phoned me and said, by the way, there was a break-in and money was stolen. Will you assist us with the investigation?
Who said you must investigate Pahlani then? Who invited you?
I didn't get invited. Somebody approached us with information.
How so? Is that the one, the letter, the brown envelope under the door?
Who?
Is that the issue? Is this the story where you say you got an envelope under the door?
No.
How did you get it?
We received a tip-off from an informer.
From an informer.
Yeah, and the informer's, well, he's now retired, was a colonel in the police.
Oh, okay. Before going any further, you said MK members, including Honorable James, were guilty of having information that is coming from intelligence. And you said that's a criminal offense, punishable with 10 years.
What's the paragraph?
The WhatsApp from the WhatsApps.
Yeah, but what's the paragraph number?
No, I'm asking what you said. You said MKP members.
Yeah, but if you can direct me to the paragraph number, I'd appreciate that because
No, you said it here. I was listening to you.
I was reading what was
No,
in
you
the
said it.
statement.
You said it. Remember when you said all MKP members, and including Honorable James, have information that is coming from intelligence and it's punishable with 10
I read
years.
what was in my statement.
Okay.
So if you can direct me back to the paragraph number, otherwise we're going to have to stop while I go looking for that paragraph number.
Okay, while they look for it, let me remind you, you said that we are guilty of that. So I want to ask you, you just said to Honorable Nomvalo.
Where is this?
You got information from reliable reliable, what did you say? Sources, yes. Within the intelligence. Were you telling the truth or were you lying?
I was telling the truth.
So isn't that the same thing you're accusing us of?
What accusation?
Getting information that was not supposed to be in our hands. The WhatsApp information. You can't pretend that you forgot. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, let me find the paragraph.
You know tell me
I
that
don't think I said,
the chair,
I don't think I said that you were in possession of that
you said
information.
okay, you said, okay, Honorable James then.
Yes.
Yeah,
Are we
like
referring
that.
to
Well,
Honorable James or are we referring to MKP?
What's the difference? You know, I'm finding similarities between you and Brown Mokotsi. You can be the white Brown Mokotsi.
Pardon?
It's fine, leave it there. Chair said I must not say you are a liar. Chair, please reconstruct this sentence for me. Are you a liar or a slow learner? Because you say you were in an accident, and in this accident, you forget things. You forgot your Afrikaans. You forgot your entire fluent Afrikaans.
Okay,
But
let me explain to you something,
Yes.
because you make these allegations and then you.
No,
you
I'm
bump them.
repeating what you said. I'm not making any allegation.
Mm.
Can you fix that? You say what I said.
Okay,
Wena ngufuna evenini ke wena. Mr. Sullivan,
yes.
there's a white buggy outside here.
Pardon?
There's a white buggy, a very white buggy here.
A what?
White buggy. Do you know what's a buggy? A van.
Yes.
It's a van. I think you should be going in that van. You're changing your statements now. Let's go again. How's your relationship with Mr. McBride?
I don't have a relationship with him.
Is he a credible police officer?
Pardon?
Is he a credible officer? Do you find him credible?
A credible what?
Do you find him credible?
In some respects, yes.
Okay. So how come when Mr. McBride is traveling with Mandla Mahlangu, the one you spoke about, who owns a 7 million farm and a house in Savannah, you never investigated that person, including McBride?
Which person?
Mandla Mahlangu.
I wasn't involved in anything that required me to investigate them.
Were you involved in investigating Patlan?
Pardon?
Were you involved in investigating Mr. Patlan?
For 10 months, yes.
You were. And
Yeah.
how did you get into that?
Because IPID refused to investigate.
Okay, this one, Mandla Mahlangu travels with Mr. McBride every day, and he owns a 7 million farm and a house in Savannah. Why didn't you bother to investigate that?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know.
If somebody had come to me and said to me, by the way, this person has a 7 million rand property, it needs to be investigated, or I receive a tip-off.
I could have possibly looked at it, but what I can't do is suck things out of my thumb and then go and look at those.
I'm asking you because you say you love South Africa. That's why you decided to investigate and help with the security in South Africa. So your love, is it limited to a certain, or is it pointing to certain people? Or can everybody benefit from your love of life in South Africa?
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
Okay, when Sbiya was appointed in Gauteng without having a competency, why didn't you investigate that one?
What was he appointed? I don't understand.
General Sbiya, the credible officer, the one you said he has, is the best one of the best. General Sbiya.
Did I say he was one of the best?
Yeah, you did in one of your interviews.
Mhm.
How do you regard him?
I'd say he's a competent police
Competent.
official, yeah.
You know he doesn't have competency.
When you say
He
competent,
failed competency.
like security
Competency,
clearance? you mean?
yes.
I have no knowledge of that.
So you have no knowledge of that. So you just took him under your wing and trusted him and,
I didn't take him under my wing.
okay, so why didn't you investigate him?
What should have I investigated him for?
For having no competency, for buying a grab, for upscaling his salary from 1.2 to 1.8, for taking a position that he has not applied for, and paying himself overtime.
I have no knowledge of that.
You had no knowledge.
No.
Okay. So when Ramaphosa hides money under the, Mr. Ramaphosa, when he hides money under the sofa, and you heard about it, what did you do? Did you investigate or just left it like that?
I only found out about it 2 years
Did
later.
you investigate or you left it like that?
I investigated the allegations that were put out by Arthur Fraser, and I opened the criminal
Did
docket.
you investigate Mr. Ramaphosa for putting money under the sofa before you investigated Mr. Fraser, who is a whistleblower in this case? Why investigate a whistleblower where there is crime?
Because he
that is
wasn't a
alleged?
whistleblower,
What was he?
a criminal, in
A
my
criminal.
opinion.
In your opinion, Mr. Ramaphosa hiding money under the mattress or the sofa, was that not criminal?
I don't know about that. I knew nothing about it.
Again, I'm gonna ask.
And I can't retrospectively
Hmm.
go back and investigate something that happened several years ago where there's no trail of evidence.
Do you know Forte University? Do you know about it, Forte?
I know where it is.
There's a gentleman by the name Oscar Mabuyane, who's a choice to Mr. Ramaphosa. When it was alleged that his education or qualifications in Forte was fraudulent or somehow having issues, why didn't you investigate?
Excuse me.
I'm still on
Chair.
the love of South Africa. I'm still on the love of South Africa. You said you
Sorry?
love South Africa.
Huh?
And South Africa can't be Patani.
You
and
answer-
stupid.
you ask me a question and then
You can answer.
don't allow me to finish
I
answering.
apologize. You can answer.
Right. Forensics for Justice is a non-profit company. It doesn't receive any income other than small donations. You can go on the website.
Hmm.
On the website are published every year the audited accounts. And you can go there now on your computer and look at it and see it. And you'll see the amount of resources that we have available to carry out investigations.
Hmm.
Now, if we were to investigate every allegation against every public official in South Africa, we would need probably 2 or 3 billion rand a year and lots of investigators. We just don't have that. So to sit there and ask me why you didn't investigate that, why you didn't investigate that, why you didn't investigate that, it's just impossible. We have to select the cases where people approach us and say, we've got this information.
Can
Nobody
I
came
have
to us
3
and-
minutes, Mr. Solomon. Sorry for that. I
But I'm
apologize.
just saying, nobody came to us
Hmm.
and told us, this professor, what did you say, Mabula?
Oscar Mabuyane, he's a premier in Eastern Cape.
Okay, nobody came to us and said,
Are you
This
gonna investigate since I'm telling you now?
nobody came to us.
I'm coming to you now. Are you
Hmm.
gonna investigate?
Well, if you go on our hotline, you can file,
I'm gonna take
and
too
then it
long.
will be
Luckily
about,
here, can you, for the love of South Africa that you have, can you investigate that?
we don't take all.
Okay, let me ask this one. I'm a South African and I need to learn something from you since you love us. How do I convince a judge or how do I get a judge to give me a court hearing at 12 a.m. and give me a conviction that I can't be arrested within, unless I'm given a note that says within 48 hours I have to be notified? How do I convince a judge to do that for me at 12 a.m.?
What's 12 a.m.? Can you define that?
Time. At midnight.
That didn't happen.
How? You got a document that says you can't be arrested and you must be notified within 48 hours. And you got that at night, at midnight.
Okay,
Is
so
that
if
not
you,
true?
if you have a look, Chairman, this relates to section P.
Is it true or not true?
No,
Did
it's
it happen?
It's not true.
It never happened. You don't have such a document.
I have such,
What
but it
time was
wasn't
that court
obtained at midnight.
What time was that court convened? At what time did you get
It
that?
was a
letter?
normal court day.
During the day.
Yes.
If I have it on record that you are lying, can you hand yourself straight to the police station?
Because you are making a mistake. Let me explain
mistake?
to you, Chairman, and I'm going to finish now because you're now accusing me of lying. So I've made it clear that every time somebody defames me, I'm going to respond. The reality of the situation is, in 2016, after repeated arrests and abuse of my constitutional rights, I launched an application in the High Court.
What time was it?
Well, normal course of business. It was an urgent application.
This midnight court is the story.
No.
It's not a
What?
story. Is it a story or not?
You know what? Let me try and finish, because what you're trying to
The
do,
thing is eating on my
what you're
time. Why-
trying,
okay,
no,
why you
you're
answer
trying
that?
to, you're trying to make
Uh,
false and defamatory statement.
Simple. Did it happen?
The reality,
Was there a midnight?
there
court?
was a midnight.
There was. Thank you. That's what I want.
No, you're
Do you
not
know
going to get
stand-off?
away with that. The reason for the midnight court was because I had been unlawfully arrested.
So there was a
drag-
midnight court. The question that I asked.
I had been
how do I
unlawfully
convince a-
arrested.
Okay, mlungu wami.
An
Kahle, kahle,
urgent
mlungu. Kahle,
application
mlungu.
was
Kahle, kahle,
brought.
kahle, nsizwa ke,
An
kahle,
urgent application was
kahle, kahle.
brought
Wait.
in the
Kahle.
urgent court in Pretoria
Can I ask a
after I had been unlawfully arrested
Wait, lo baba.
by
Kahle,
dirty
kahle,
cops
baba.
reporting to Pashlani. And they dragged me away.
I understand your anger with Pashan. The
I'm
question
not
is not
angry
that.
with you. I'm
This is the
stating the
question.
truth. And what I'm not
How
going
do
to
you
allow
get a
is
judge?
for you.
How do I convince a judge to give me a court hearing at midnight, 12 midnight? I just want to learn, how do I do that? Do I need money, bribe, or what?
You
What
need
do I
to speak
need?
to.
How do I?
You need to speak.
Honorable
You need to
Breitenbach.
speak to my lawyers because
Honorable
the court
Breitenbach.
application was launched by my
Mr.
lawyers.
Paul Robert O'Sullivan, your time has expired with
Thank you,
Honorable
Chair.
Shong. May you turn to Honorable Breitenbach. She's sitting there. Your time has started, Honorable Breitenbach.
Chairperson, good afternoon, Mr. O'Sullivan.
Good afternoon.
Apart from the time that you were arrested, I think it was in April 2016, and taken off an aircraft, how many other times have you been arrested? And what was the outcome of those matters?
Thank you, Chairman. So if we go, in fact, it follows on from your colleague. I'm sorry, I can't remember the member's name.
Respond to the
Yes,
question.
if we follow on from that incident he's talking about.
The name is Shongwe.
Thank you.
Please remember
Thank
it.
you.
Mnigas Wefen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If we follow on from that incident, I was arrested at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, on the 12th of February, 2017. And I was taken away to Camille Police Station, which is the police station just down the road from Sable Hills Estate.
Mr. O'Sullivan, forgive me, I just want to interrupt you for 1 second. And I don't want to prevent you answering the question, because I want the answer. I don't really need all the details of the arrests. I need to know how many there were and what was the outcome of them. Were they prosecuted, were they not prosecuted? Really, that's all I need.
So
to
there
know.
was that arrest. One of my staff was arrested. In all, there were 6 trials. And 3 or 4 of the trials I was acquitted, and the others, the state withdrew them or they were struck off the roll.
Okay, thank you. So they went nowhere.
Went nowhere. Not because of any reason than the fact that they were all unlawful cases. And the DPC, I made a formal complaint to the DPCI judge,
Yes.
and they issued a report. And in the DPCI judge's report, they made it crystal clear that in fact, my constitutional rights were violated.
Yes, I have seen that report. Thank you. In paragraph 75 of your affidavit, I think it's on page 25 of the page numbers, you deal with the hugely inflated slush fund or the COVID fund of crime intelligence.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that while it has, the fund has increased exponentially over the years, there's been no discernible drop in crime.
Mhm.
Would you, however, agree that this is largely due to the fact that there's in fact very little activity or legitimate activity from crime intelligence? And that the reason we find ourselves in the position we find ourselves in is largely due to the fact that the National Prosecuting Authority and police departments get no input from crime intelligence because they're not doing their job.
In fact, that's the point I've made in my affidavit, is that crime intelligence have become neutralized. And the proof of that is the riots that took place in KZN, which took the lives of 305 people and cost 100 billion rand in damage economy. And the then head of crime intelligence in KZN was Major General Kamala, who's now Lieutenant General. No crime intelligence was received about the riots. A year later, he's promoted to Lieutenant General, and placed in charge of the Division of Crime Intelligence. And the money just keeps getting stolen.
Yeah. Well, that's more or less par for the course for crime intelligence, as we're all aware. In 3 very concise points, please, can you tell me what, in your view, are the main causes of the problems we currently experience in the criminal justice system? Concise, please.
I'll try and be as concise as possible. The problems are deep-rooted corruption, the infighting within the criminal justice system. At the root of that is the Crime Intelligence Slush Fund, and the failure or refusal of successive crime intelligence heads and successive crime intelligence finance officers to be held accountable for the use of the crime intelligence funds has resulted in the reality that crime intelligence has become neutralized and it's no longer serving its purpose.
Okay, I'd like to go to the document that Honorable James handed to you. Do you have it? It is a photostat copy of what purports to be a deposit slip for Nedbank
Yes.
and another smaller document. I'm not
I
sure
don't
what
have
it is.
the other document. I only got this.
Oh, no, this is all I need. It's all I'm going to refer to. So you're a certified fraud examiner,
Correct.
and I take it then that I may assume that you're somewhat of an expert on documents.
Can be sometimes.
Okay.
Depends on the nature of the document.
Well, let's have a look at this one.
This is a photocopy.
Yes, well, of course, that's the first thing. It's a photocopy of a photocopy. It's not even a photocopy.
Mm.
So its provenance is in doubt, and its veracity, the weight of evidence that it carries is not great in the normal course of events.
Well, yes, you're quite right. But
So would you have a look at that document there? It says a total of cash, postal, and money orders.
pardon me?
It says there a total of cash, postal, and money orders, and it says 100,000 rand, right just under the date.
Oh, yes, yes,
You see it?
yes,
Then there's a Nedbank stamp on it,
yes.
and then in the total block it says R1 million.
Yeah, I think that's not correct.
Well, it can't be. It must either be 100,000 or R1 million. It can't be both.
Yeah, exactly. It's a problem.
And you see that depositor's name and or reference is AN other.
Correct.
Oh, so a bit of a joke.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know where the document comes from, and I assume it emanates from the DSO files somewhere, because this date refers to DSO operations. But there's the deposit slip in itself is, in my view, deeply problematic. From my experience as a prosecutor, I would have had an issue with this document.
Yeah, I've never seen the deposit slip until today.
So I'm not sure of its evidentiary value. You were involved in a matter regarding a number of articles published by Amabungani. You will recall that it was alleged that Amabungani was in possession of documents that had been allegedly stolen by one van Niekerk.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that now.
And you testified on behalf of, I think, the Moti organization.
They're clients of ours.
Yes, that the documents had in fact been stolen.
In fact, the person that stole the documents is now on trial
Yes.
for stealing those documents, and a court order was granted that the documents must be returned, and the accused is currently in contempt of that court order.
Well, no, that court order was overturned at some point by Judge van Nieuwenhuizen and said they must be kept in the offshore location where they were kept and not altered or damaged in any way. That was the result of that. Judge Holland Muter issued the order to say return them, and then it was overturned.
No, the order that they must be returned was taken on appeal, and the appeal was withdrawn, and that order is now valid.
I see. And you say that Mr. Van Niekerk is on trial.
Correct.
And what is the position with that trial, do you know?
I think discovery took place in December. And to my knowledge, the trial should be starting either in March or April.
But in that affidavit, which is the point I want to get to, is you in your affidavit discussed the issues of the metadata and how that would demonstrate that the documents were in fact stolen.
Correct.
Now, are you yourself an expert on analyzing documents to the extent that you can sensibly discuss the issues of metadata?
We have the software that enables us to download.
No. Are you sufficiently an expert to do that?
I consider I've done it for more than 15 or 20 years, so I have the experience. There is no specific qualification that says this is the qualification you need.
No, of course not, Mr. O'Sullivan, but I have been a prosecutor in 1 or 2 trials. And in order to demonstrate expertise, you need to demonstrate a long period of proficiency and qualifications and expertise, and to discuss issues of metadata. In my view, you need to be, sorry, Andile, could you just sit back, please? To discuss issues of metadata and what it means confidently in an affidavit, you would have to be
an expert. I'm asking you if you are an expert.
No, but I referred to a metadata report that had been done
By someone else?
Yes.
Yes, but you'll agree with me that if you're not an expert, you can't do that.
No, we just referred to that metadata report.
That's a little dodgy to then include in your affidavit a view based on someone else's view. That's not really acceptable.
Well, it might be considered that.
It was certainly found that way by Judge Van Nieuwenhuizen, you will recall.
I don't know about this, Judge Van Nieuwenhuizen.
You mentioned Mr. Mdluli from Crime Intelligence and his employment of his family members.
Correct.
While he was in charge of. Now, Mr. Mdluli's travails are many, and in my view, transgressions also many, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. But as far as you're aware, are his family members who were employed, qualified or otherwise, still employed at Crime Intelligence?
My understanding is that some of them were dismissed, but some of them are still there.
And despite all of the time that has passed, no one has managed to get rid of them?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Honorable Reitenbach. You have requested that you may want to be released at some stage.
I'll be back. I just want to go
If
through
you feel the pressures of time, you must know that I have granted you permission to leave and come back. Honorable Thopa, your time starts now.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Are
Mr. O'Sullivan? Sorry, Chair?
Are you participating as a full member or as a?
No, as an alternative.
Okay.
Chairperson, paragraph 164. Mr. O'Sullivan, you make quite that bold allegation that there's many members of parliament who are involved with corrupt crime intelligence officials. Were you saying earlier that you can't or you don't want to say who you're speaking of?
Yeah, I explained that the informant is a confidential informant. So this is an allegation. It's not an allegation that I can present with any evidence. I can just state that I've received the allegation.
Right, so you're saying there's no evidence at your disposal currently?
Only information. I said I've been reliably informed, which means it's hearsay evidence.
Thank you. In paragraph 152, you speak of General Polani's interference with witnesses by interviewing them yourself or that he was interviewing them himself or you had other people interview them. Is this correct?
That's correct. The documents in question were submitted at the High Court.
Thank you. In paragraph 147.17, you then stated there that the salesman, I believe it's the salesman of the expensive sound system, was identified and interviewed by yourself. Is that correct?
Sorry, what's the paragraph number?
147.17.
Yes, to be interviewed, but he wouldn't give me a sworn statement.
But you interviewed him yourself.
Yes, because when it became apparent,
And then am I correct in to say that you were the complainant in that case?
but IPID had refused to carry out the investigation. So we continued with the investigation ourselves.
Am I correct in then saying, well, let me ask it rather this way, is it normal practice for a civilian or a complainant to interview individuals? And IPID was involved prior to that,
IPID wasn't involved.
right? Is it normal practice for a civilian or complainant to interview a witness?
We interview witnesses all the time.
So it's normal standard procedure.
Pardon?
Is that standard procedure for the complainant to interrogate the witness?
So
Or,
in this matter, Forensics for Justice were the complaint through me. And the purpose of the interview was to get information that could be given to IPID. And all the information we got was supplied to IPID.
thank you. In paragraph 147.13, so it's in a similar section, you sat with the interview with General Patlale's driver.
Correct.
Is that also normal?
I was requested to sit in on that interview.
Surely, IPID was capable of interviewing the driver and tracing the driver. And I wonder, Mr. Sullivan, was it the request of yourself to sit in that, or that of Mr. Mashlangu?
It was Mr. Mashlangu who asked me to.
Oh, what did he mean when you guys spoke about in your statement? You mentioned that he wanted to get buy-in with white people.
Mr. Mashlangu felt uncomfortable with. He thought that because the person was white, I think a white Afrikaans guy, he felt that the driver may not cooperate with him in respect of detailing the payments that were made out of the boot of the car.
So it was just the front. The color was just the front.
Well, he felt that if a white person was in the interview, he might be more cooperative.
Thank you. In paragraph 18, you spoke about leading from the front. This is paragraph 18. Drug trafficking, human trafficking. Paragraph 18.
Let me just find it.
You spoke about leading in the front, from the front, drug trafficking, human trafficking, etc.
Correct.
You also stated that you were requested to donate 8 hours of your time.
Correct.
And that you were doing about 40 hours per week.
Mm-hmm.
And I do understand that you had the financial means to do so. The question, though, is again, is it normal for a reservist to lead such a mammoth task? And is it normal for a reservist to lead such a mammoth task when there are people in the SAPS chains that must have been proficient at the time? You can understand why I ask.
Yes, in fact, there were quite a number of reservists who worked substantial numbers of hours, and we were quite successful in the projects that we managed.
Now, I understand. My question is it normal for a reservist to take then such a stance to lead from the front when there are people within the SAPS permanently employed that I'm very sure could have done the same task?
It's not normal, but it happens.
Mr. Sullivan, through you, Chair, who did Mr. Celebi appoint that you said belonged in jail? If you can just give some names there, it's in paragraph 35.
Well, the one person was in jail, that was Richard Ndludi.
Is there anybody currently employed?
Did you say paragraph 35?
I think so, yes, paragraph 35.
No, I can't see it then, paragraph 35.
I could have a wrong paragraph number by accident, but it is where you speak of I can't even get this one open now. Where you spoke of Celebi appointing people that belong in jail. I mean,
If you can direct me to the paragraph. So
right,
that I
I'll
can
come
see
back
it.
to that one, just for time constraints. I think paragraph 37, it seems that you're saying that the once former President Zuma became the president of the ANC. I think it was in the December 2007. It is the ANC under his leadership that called for the closure of the Scorpions as they were effective against corruption. Is my understanding correct?
I'm not sure I understand what your understanding is.
It was under President Zuma's leadership of the ANC that the Scorpions were closed.
Yes, I believe that.
And they were effective at the time because they were going for politicians and high level.
What paragraph are we talking about?
37?
This is after Polokwane.
Yes, it's at the end of the paragraph.
The conference called for the ANC policy to disband the Scorpions. I think that's common cause. And the disbanding of, my understanding is that the disbanding of the Scorpions was intended to curtail high-profile corruption investigations. And if you look at the Glenister judgment, it's quite clear that that application was intended to either save the Scorpions or to have something that stood independent from the police. And that's what led to the changes in Section 17 of the Police Service Act and the creation of the DPCI.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. It might be common cause for some of us, but many people don't know all these. This is why I'm asking these questions. Is it correct that within 2 years, the Scorpions were totally disbanded? That's from 2007. And this was the mark of the start of the significant corruption we see today. Is that correct?
What paragraph are you on now?
It's straight after that paragraph. You just said within 2 years, the Scorpions were totally disbanded.
Yeah, I think it was 2.5 years.
Would I be correct to assume, because as you allude to the witnesses, Mr. Celebi and Mr. Mbeki, who tried to help him, former President Zuma was a catalyst to what we see today as one of the major reasons that we're sitting here.
It's in the same paragraph.
Yes, that whole paragraph speaks about that. Paragraph 37, line 4.
Yes. What is the question?
I said, would I be correct to assume that when you allude to this section, you speak about the relationship between Mr. Celebi, Mr. Mbeki, who had tried to help him, and former President Zuma? Was it a catalyst to what we see today as the major reasons that we are sitting here?
I think it could be part of it, but I can't say it's all of it. I think one have to look at the defective aspects of crime intelligence and the abuse of the slush fund.
Yeah, I'm just saying, was it a catalyst?
I think it could have been.
Thank you. In paragraph 147, Mr. Sullivan, you stated that you were tortured for 3 days. Who tortured you? Where did this take place? And do you have any evidence, photos of anything of this?
So
torture marks?
If you take a look at the act that deals with torture, it's all set out in the complaint I made at the time. So, thanks. If you look at the definition of torture, and I'm just going to call it up quickly, you will see exactly what the definition of torture is.
Mr. Sullivan, sorry, I've got very little time from a full member. So just, do you have anything, any proof of a torture of a physical nature? Let me rather put it that way to you.
There's different types of torture. It wasn't physical.
Okay, how were you tortured? You can just give me the reason how you were tortured, Mr. Sullivan.
Okay, Act 13 of 2013 sets out quite clearly what torture is. And it states quite clearly, torture has a meaning assigned to it in Section 3. And it's defined as, the purpose of this act, torture means any act by which severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, is intentionally inflicted on a person for such purpose as to either obtain information, punish him or her for an act he or she or any other person has committed, or intimidate or coerce him.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I understand. I'm asking, how were you tortured then? If you can explain to me.
Okay, so I was taken and placed in a cell with rats running around and sewage on the floor with nowhere to sit. And I was repeatedly told that I'd be in prison for the rest of my life. I will be charged with treason. And that process went on for 3 days and nights. And I wasn't allowed to sleep.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. And I'm asking these questions, not that I'm saying you're saying the truth, I'm not saying the truth. What I'm saying, many South Africans go there, and it's why we're sitting here. Because I think many South Africans sit in cells that are dirty, sewage on the floor, and that's exactly what we do as oversight, and we need to better on that. In the same paragraph that you spoke about this, you also spoke about your phones were tapped. Who was responsible for tapping your phone, and do you have any proof of that?
Crime intelligence, and there's a sworn statement that's not included here, but there's a sworn statement by I think the guy's name is Isaac Meir, and in that sworn statement, he sets out how my phone was tapped.
If you could just please provide that to the committee at your earliest convenience.
I'll have to find
I think my time should almost be done. Just want to quickly go back quickly. That's paragraph where I said paragraph 37, 36. It seems that you were saying that the President Zuma and the ANC leadership. No, we covered that.
Pardon, which paragraph?
I think it was paragraph 36. I asked, would I be correct to assume what you have alluded to now in the witness statements is that you, Mr. Salebi, Mr. Mbeki, who you said to try help him, and former President Zuma was the catalyst. I think we're just clarifying that was the paragraph we were alluding to earlier on, but you did answer the question. Paragraph 150, you mentioned you received death threats. You wrote to General Polani to inform him. I guess you believed he was making the threats, and you copied President Ramaphosa. And you do say then that you had no doubt that President Ramaphosa will say he was under the spell of Zuma. What did you mean by this, and what did former President Zuma have over President Ramaphosa?
Well,
and is this your opinion,
it's an opinion,
or was it something that was communicated to you?
No, it's an opinion. And if you have a look at page 1082, that contains the actual threat where they threatened to kill me. 1082. If you have a look at page 1082, it says, and this is the email that I sent to Pashlani on the 21st of November. And I've copied and pasted the threat in there. And it says, "Hello, Chief, this is a warning to you. We are aware that you are working for a big foreign spy, Paul Sullivan, who is funded by his masters. This man is in cahoot with Robert." Obviously, they mean Robert McBride. Lot of junior policemen, the police com, and lot of senior policemen who are paid by him with money from UK Kingdom. Unfortunately, you became part of them. You must stop now. We know where you stay and your family. Paul is a stupid old man. His days are numbered. We are on his heels. You must either choose to die with him. We are watching you, boy. We are about to finish Paul. We have everything on him from his family in the UK. He is a foreigner. Robert isn't clever. Tell him to lead the spy. I will see if you are listening. I'm not,
Mr. Sullivan, sorry, I do need
warn
to
you again.
interrupt you. I understand that, but that's what the letter's content is. But my question is, you said that President Ramaphosa was under former President Zuma's spell.
yes, and
Was that your opinion?
I'm
That's all I
saying-
want to know.
and I said, yes, that's my.
Okay, that's, sorry, I've got very little time. Then you spoke about these death threats. Did anything, were there any attempts on your life at the time? At that given time? When? How did it happen?
Yes, there was attempts on my life at that time.
All right. And then in paragraph 10, you spoke about you were headhunted by Chubb in 1995. Why did they headhunt you specifically, and what skill sets did you possess at the time?
Let me just find that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, fine, it's finished.
The 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chairperson.
have expired. The next speaker is Honorable Malem.
Thanks, Chairperson. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, you have admitted to have received money from DSO, right?
Correct.
And therefore, these documents that are presented before you are not in any way suggesting that they might be fraudulent. They're just confirming exactly what you have confirmed, that you have received money.
Well, I've never seen the documents before, but the document would appear to me, if I recall correctly, the amount that was paid to me at the time was 100,000 Rand, not 1 million Rand.
The question was not, have you seen the document before? The question was, what is reflected on this document is exactly what you have experienced in your account.
Yeah, but not the 1 million.
Why? No one has said 1 million. 1 million,
said
the person was trying to.
It says 1 million.
No. There's no one who says 1 million.
The document says.
No, the document doesn't say 1 million.
It does.
If you look at the printed
Yes.
statement, it says 100,000.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it's saying.
Yes.
So to try and delegitimize what looks like a legitimate document is unacceptable.
I'm not trying to.
Not you, I'm just saying, following up to what was the impression that was created here, that this might not be correct figures. Why were they giving you money?
As I've said to you, they were refunding some of the expenses I'd incurred.
There's nowhere the written refund. There's no way. The first document says a request for an advance from the DSO confidential funds.
I haven't seen that document.
Have they not shared the document with you here?
That's all I've got, just that. I've not seen anything else.
Yeah, there is a document here from Scorpions
I've not seen
that says
I've only seen it.
they're giving you advance.
I've not seen
And there's two documents. The one says request for an advance from the DSO confidential funds. And then the other one says application for reward, Paul O'Sullivan.
I've not seen it.
Nowhere do they suggest that you are being refunded for anything.
Thank you.
So in a way, you are part of these people who have been benefiting from this slush fund.
Chairman, that allegation was made earlier. The slush fund I was talking about was the crime intelligence slush fund. Any payment that's made by the NPA or the DSO is not being made from the crime intelligence slush fund.
No, it's the same thing, Chief. It's the money that they don't account for. The DSO confidential fund.
Oh, I know nothing
It's
about
police.
This is
Police money.
This is the first
Government
time,
money. It's the public money.
This is the first time I'm seeing this document. And in fact, what they did internally, I don't know about it. I just know that they made a contribution to some of the massive expenses I'd incurred in respect of investigations that I carried out in relation to the two projects. The one was called Project Coffee, and the other one was called Project Bad Guys.
Yeah, it's written here, Project Bad Guys, brackets, coffee.
Yeah, there were
Coffee leg.
two projects. And it related to the international drug smuggling syndicate with tentacles around the world. And this is not a reward. It says here it's a reward for information, but I'd never seen this document before. It wasn't a reward for information. It was refunding of expenses or partial refunding of expenses.
It makes the situation worse, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, because it means the money was released under false pretext.
Well, I know nothing about that.
Because if it says a reward and you call it a refund, it means whoever went to apply for this money lied
I don't know.
that you are being rewarded.
I've only seen the document today for the first time. But it lists a number of names and people that went to prison. So, yeah, I'm seeing it for the first time today.
Okay, let's leave that one. At least we confirm that you have received the money. We're just not finding each other about why you received the money. I just want you to assist the committee in relation to your professional background. So, did you complete O-level or A-level?
O-level and 1 A-level.
1 A-level.
Yeah.
What that is equivalent to what in South African terms?
I don't know how you equated it. I suppose it would be something like a matric.
So you've got matric.
They don't have a matric.
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter what they call it.
I think it would be called the equivalent of a matric.
You've got an equivalent of matric.
Correct.
From there, which post-matric or post-A1 level did you go to?
So
University or technicon or anything of that sort?
I went to a technicon, but I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background.
Which one?
I said I went to a technicon, but I'm not prepared to discuss my educational background. I made that clear. And
no, you have to discuss your educational background because you took our money. We hired you, at AXA. At AXA. No. That's our money.
Okay.
You only get that money if you have reached certain particular qualifications. So we want to see if you received that money legitimately.
Which money?
AXA. You worked for AXA. They were paying you a salary.
They paid a salary.
Yeah.
I gave them a good return on that money.
No, it doesn't matter. Did you get any tertiary qualifications?
Yeah, I did.
Which is what?
I'm not prepared to discuss it.
But I want to check if you're qualified.
You go ahead and check.
No. I want to check with you if you are qualified to be head of aviation security.
Well, then you should perhaps speak to us.
And if you look at the report of the 2002, there is no even such a structure in the organogram of AXA. In the report of AXA, there is nothing called group aviation security, group heads aviation security. You are the only person who's using that concept. No one at AXA is using that concept. Even the advert, there were 2 adverts that year which were taken out. None of those adverts say group head aviation security. They say aviation security.
So I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I think it's defective. I'd like to refer you to a page in the annexes. Come to the page number now. I'd like you to refer to page 62.
Yeah.
And page 63.
Yeah.
And page 64. So on page 62, it's addressed to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Director, Executive Group Security. Page 63, it's addressed to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Group Executive Security. On the business news or engineering news article, which is page 64, if you look at the second paragraph or the third paragraph on the left-hand side, it says, according to AXA Group Executive Aviation Security, Paul O'Sullivan, this is substantially more than was likely to be allocated had the 2001 terrorism attacks not occurred. And it talks about 150 or 140 million rand budget to improve security. So perhaps those 3 references would indicate that there is in fact a position called Group Executive Aviation Security.
No, the two heading don't speak to that.
Pardon me?
The two heads, the two things that you referred me to under Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Director, Executive Group Security. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, Group Executive Security.
Correct.
There is no way where they call you Group Head Aviation Security.
So my job title was Group Executive Aviation Security. So if you look at the page 64, on the third paragraph on the left-hand side, it says, according to AXA, Group Executive Aviation Security, Paul O'Sullivan. So
No. That's what you call yourself. That's not what your employer calls you. I mean, this is an article. What you are referring me, it's an article of a newspaper, and that's how you would have said, this is how they must address you. But where you are being addressed officially in the letter of the institution, it says Director Executive Group Security. Then the second one, it says Group Executive Security. Nowhere do they refer to you as Group Head Aviation Security.
So those people wrote what they thought was my position. My position at the time and my contract of employment was Group Executive Aviation Security.
No, Mr. Paul, I'm saying to you, even the advert that was advertising that position did not write Group Aviation Security. It wrote Head Security.
It's 25 years ago.
Yes, then you arrived there and gave yourself a title that is non-existent.
No, that's not
Because
true.
it's not there in the organogram of the institution. There's no such a position. In their report, if you go and read their 2001 annual report, which will probably be published in 2002, if you go and check that report, you will realize that there is no such a position in that structure.
Chairman,
But let's pass that.
I'm just making the point that I was employed at AXA and I was employed in the position of Group Executive Aviation Security.
But say, I'm going to have a problem because you cannot refuse to tell me what are your tertiary qualifications, yet you occupy a head aviation security position, which its equivalent now, as if you look at the adverts this year, they require a master's degree and some 5 years experience. So I could imagine during your time, there's no way, even the one that I'm referring you to, it says it requires a degree or an equivalent. That's why I want to check your qualification to match it with the requirements so that I can make a determination that you are indeed employed through your qualifications.
And am I correct in thinking, Chairman, that that's in the terms of reference of this committee to look into the qualifications of a civilian that has nothing to do with it?
It has got everything to do with it.
We're going back, no. We're going back more than 20 years. Okay, and my qualifications were obtained 40 years ago. So I am not going to get into a debate. I have rights, and my rights include the right to privacy. And you would know from the Constitution. And my right to privacy, I will maintain. And you can dig into my right to privacy if you want. I'm here voluntarily, and I'm not going to submit myself to providing information which I believe you're not entitled to. So you can repeatedly ask for it, and you can make all the assertions you wish, but I'm not supplying you.
You know why you are making this a big issue is because you lied yesterday and told us about a technicon that is non-existent.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not there. You did. You told us that you went to some Manchester engineer or something. The chair can confirm that.
Okay.
You said that yesterday that you went to Manchester Technicon or something. And then when we went to research that institution, you said you went to a training in engineering. Yeah. We did not find such an institution existing.
Yeah, okay.
So, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, You occupied a senior position without qualifying because you had infiltrated the system.
If you believe that.
And part of our investigation, the reason why we go to qualifications is we want to demonstrate that these people they don't have the necessary skills, yet they occupy strategic positions because of their proximity
In the police.
to those, not in the police.
But aren't we supposed to be looking, Chairman, at the allegations from the KZN Commissioner of Police, and instead you're now diverting? So what you've actually done, Chairman, is you first of all invite me here, I come here, and now what you're doing is you're trying to impugn my character, and you've been doing it for the last 5 hours. And, you know, I'm not going to cooperate with that.
No, you're going to cooperate. Look,
No,
you went to mess up our IPIT and our justice system, our criminal justice system. We're trying to establish as to who is this person who is alleged to have done the following in the institutions that we're investigating. It is in that context that we're asking you about yourself. And it shouldn't be difficult for a person who has taken an oath to tell the truth, but nothing else but the truth, that I went to school and this is why. I'm not asking you whether you passed with this higher degree or not. I'm just asking, where did you obtain your qualifications? Because yesterday you told us about a different technicon that is not a Manchester technicon.
Okay,
Then you are doing engineering.
You get the transcript of yesterday.
Now
I think
today-
you'll find your mistake. And
Chair, can you please intervene and perhaps remind him of what he said?
Mr. Paul Robert O'Sullivan, you went to Manchester Technicon.
No, I said I
and
studied at Manchester, and somebody said, is it a technicon?
If you listen to me, so
Okay,
that
sorry.
you know what you are going to respond to. You went to Manchester Technicon and you obtained a higher certificate in electronics. That is the evidence that you deposited
Yes,
yesterday.
that's correct, and that is
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
But it's absolutely not called Manchester Technicon, but you know, somebody said, is it a technicon? I said, yes, but it's not. But anyway.
You see, you are now changing that, now that you are no longer prepared to talk about your qualifications. But I just demonstrated to you, you spoke about your qualifications yesterday. And you were not qualified to be employed as head of anything at AXA because you didn't possess the necessary qualifications. Number two, which I want to ask is, after you went to, is it the military intelligence, did you work anywhere else except when you left the military intelligence?
Did I work anywhere? What?
Did you work anywhere after you left military intelligence?
Yes, I did.
Where?
I'm not telling you,
Why?
because it's none of your business.
It's none of my business. So, okay, that's fine. You don't have an answer. And no, you don't have an answer because the question after that was going to be, where did you get the money to invest in the property investment? Because you were just from school, went to military intelligence, and then the next thing you come to South Africa for tourism, you love the place, then come back to South Africa to invest in property development, and not only in South Africa, but in different kind of countries. Where do you get that money from? Because military intelligence will not have given you such pensions.
No, pension, I don't get a pension at the age of 26 or 27.
That's what I'm saying.
I did
Where did you get the money
property development, and I made profit.
Where did you get the money to invest in the property development?
The first development I did, I borrowed the money from the bank and I made it a profit. And I reinvested that profit in another property. And I made a profit there. And I reinvested that in another property and I made a profit there. So that's how property development works.
No, I don't buy that story. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, property investment is a very expensive investment. My suspicion is that you were given money out of the military intelligence to go and be an investor in different countries to continue saving them, in spying those countries on their behalf. But you must look like you are an investor.
With respect, Chairman, I think the honourable member has been watching too much TV
Why?
because you're speculating.
You have never worked to get money to qualify to engage in property investment.
How do you know that?
That's what you told me, at least. You went to work at military in intelligence, and then from there you worked in a firm. You can't tell me, because if you tell me that firm, I will be able to evaluate, to check,
No.
and make 1 + 1 to see if we can make such money to invest in property investment.
With all due respect, my property investment activities took place probably when you were still a baby.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is, if a person is an entrepreneur and he makes money, how can you then jump into the conclusion that that person is being paid from a government fund or something of that nature? That's pure speculation, and you don't have a shred of evidence. So what you're actually doing is you are making these speculations. It's your idea, and it's wrong.
No.
And I'm just pointing out that you are wrong.
No, my idea is that because I was a baby, and it's not my problem that I was a baby, it is my mother's problem. She gave birth to me at that time. I've got nothing to do with what I was at that time. So because you were an old man, you have to teach me how you came about to become a property investor. You can say I'm formulating it because we've put you there, and we want you to educate us as to how did you become this big property investor from just military intelligence.
I won't say I was a big property developer, but I was a property developer. And when you bring money into South Africa, you convert it from pounds to rand, you get quite a significant amount more rand. And if you look at the property prices overseas and you look at the property prices here, you can buy more property here for the same amount of money you will buy much less overseas. And I decided to get involved in property development. And if you find that suspicious, it's a problem. And I believe the reason you're finding it suspicious is because you and certain other members of this committee are looking for ways of covering up the criminal conduct of crime intelligence officials and the abuse of the slush fund. And that's why we have people like Pashlani, who's on trial at the moment, getting away with the crimes that they're committing, because Parliament, or certain parts of Parliament, are not exercising their duty of care and their duty to look after the interests of the country.
Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, if you know me, I'm not part of the nonsense you're talking about. Not me. I'm not part of any nonsense you're talking about. I'm not part of any slush fund or anything. I question people the same way I'm questioning you, all of them, including Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. I questioned him because I'm about the truth and nothing else but the truth. And I'm not going to be patronized or be intimidated by anyone, not me. They can try with other people, not me. Okay. So you must never ever group me with people who are involved with some people who are doing wrongdoings in the crime intelligence. If you have been following the proceedings here, you'll see that I've taken the same posture with everyone. You are talking about former General Patlani. He's still coming to us. We are not done with him. When his turn comes, we'll attend to it. You are saying you are a certified fraud examiner. Mm-hmm. Who certified you?
The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners.
So, association where, here or in the USA?
It's a US, it's based in Austin in Texas.
So they give you a certificate which you perhaps attached here, which we can make reference to confirm that you are a certified fraud examiner.
Well, if you look at page 73,
Yeah.
and if you look at page 67, so page 67 says Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, South Africa, chapter number 91, ACFESA, Certified Fraud Examiner of the Year, 2014, was awarded to Paul O'Sullivan for his contribution to the fight against fraud and white-collar crime. And if you look at the page 73, it says again, Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, South Africa chapter, ACFE, hereby awards Paul O'Sullivan with the Certified Fraud Examiner of the Year Award 2022, with all rights and privileges under the bylaws of the ACFE SA chapter.
So what requirements must one have to be admitted into doing this type of qualification?
I'd have to go on the website and have a look because, but you have to take exams, you have to undergo quite a lot of training. Yeah.
Now, what I want to understand is that were you expected to have some pre-qualifications before you entered this?
I think so, yeah. You'd have to go on the website and have a look at what the requirements are.
The issue of security clearance, you said to me at that time when you were head of aviation security, the issue of security clearance was not a requirement.
That's correct.
No, but when we look at the necessary act that was applying at the time, that was a requirement.
It became a requirement in 2003.
That was after you left?
No, before I left. It was made a requirement in 2003.
And then when they found you without having the security clearance, what happened at the National Key Point?
Then I could no longer be the National Key Point officer, and I could no longer be sitting on the National Aviation Security Committee.
Have you ever been found guilty of GBV?
What's GBV?
Gender-based violence?
Yes, in 1999, I paid a 500 Rand admission of guilt fine for an alleged assault. And in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have paid the fine, but my lawyer at the time advised me that either there would be a trial or I could just pay the fine and it wouldn't be a criminal record. Unfortunately, I paid the fine. It was made a criminal record, and then it was subsequently, what do they call it? Expunged from the record.
Do you still have your firearm license?
Yes, I do.
Is it not the requirement that when you are found guilty of such a thing, they should withdraw your firearm license?
So there wasn't a trial and I wasn't found guilty. I just paid an admission of guilt fine. It's like if you're driving at 150 kilometers an hour and the speed limit is 120, you get a ticket in the post and you can either go to court and challenge it and then you get convicted and then it'll be on your record, or you pay an admission of guilt fine and then it doesn't appear on your record, although that is now changing because I think with the new, what do they call it, AARTO Act, even if you pay an admission of guilt fine now, it becomes part of your record. But at that time, it wasn't the case.
Have you ever faced any allegations of sexual misconduct?
No.
There was never an allegation that you were accused of raping an underage girl?
Definitely
who
not.
was in the Randburg area, who was
Absolutely
close, who was a daughter of a close friend?
Absolutely not. I mean,
and that will mean you have not even tried to pay any bribe to those parents to.
I've never had such allegations made. Nothing of any nature whatsoever.
What is your relationship with McBride?
Robert McBride. I have no relationship with him.
Professionally?
When he was at IPID, yes.
What required you to work with him at IPID, which makes it difficult to work with him when he's outside IPID?
Because I'm not involved with him now. When he was working at IPID, he was the executive director of IPID.
Mm-hmm.
And he was unlawfully suspended. And he was off work for, I think, 10 or 12 months. And during that period, I opened a criminal docket against General Pashlani. And that was in February, I think February the 16th, in 2016. And after I opened that docket, there was no investigation. So for 10 months, there was no investigation by IPID. And because they refused to investigate, I continued gathering evidence myself. But after March, I refused to supply any of that evidence to IPID because they were leaking it to General Pashlani. So at the end of October 2016, the Constitutional Court found that Robert McBride's suspension was unlawful, and he was reinstated. And after he was reinstated, immediately after he was reinstated, I reached out to him and I said, hey, you know, we need to pick this docket up. I opened it 10 months ago and there's been no investigation. And that was my first proper sit down with him to explain what happened on that docket. He then appointed Matthews Sissoko to put a team together, and the head of that
sorry, Mr. O'Sullivan, there's a request that you speak to the mic.
Oh, sorry. So he put a team together. Let me just move my chair. He put a team together and the investigation was carried out. And during the process of that investigation, 3 weeks into that investigation, there was a threat to murder myself and to murder Mandla Mashlangu, who was leading that team. And as a result of those threats to murder myself and Mandla Mashlangu, we had further meetings, and it was decided that we needed to find out who these threats were coming from or where they were coming from. And they managed to trace the phone to a police official that worked at OR Tambo, but the police official claimed that he lost his phone the day before the threats were made. So it never got anywhere. And I mean, then what happened So that was in November, towards the end of November 2016. On about between 10 or 12 or 13 of December, we had a braai. It was a year-end braai. And Mandla Mshangu was there, Robert McBride was there, Cedric Nkabindi was there. There were two other guys, I can't remember their name, from IPID. And I was there. Some of my staff were there. I think 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 of my staff were there. And we had a braai, and it was a year-end braai, and that day I was flying overseas. And 3 days after that braai, General Prince Mokateri, who was then the unlawfully appointed head of DPCI in Gauteng, leaked a media article through a private investigator by the name of Chad Thomas to the media. And the article alleged that a secret meeting took place instead of a braai, and that the purpose of the secret meeting was to discuss overthrowing the government, and that the persons present at the secret meeting, apart from myself and McBride and others, was the DA and AfriForum and a journalist. Of course, the whole thing was fabricated.
See, I'm being very patient, but my time.
But the media made a big meal of it, a massive meal of it. So I then invited General Mokateri to take no, not I. Robert McBride invited General Mokateri to take a polygraph test, and he agreed to take the polygraph test. And I said to Robert McBride, he should also take the polygraph test. So he did take the polygraph test. And after he took the polygraph test, which he passed, and the question was, were you at a meeting where you talked about overthrowing the government? And he passed. And the question for Mokateri would have been, is this case you opened for allegedly overthrowing the government real or not real? And he refused to take the polygraph test. So that was kind of the end of it.
That's fine. And then Naim Kasim, what is your professional relationship with him?
Naim Kasim, if I go back to, trying to remember the year, either 2011 or 2012, I'm trying to remember the year. Naim Kasim was a client. He came to us. He asked us to carry out an investigation in respect of certain events that had taken place with him. He owned an OK Bazaar in Brits. And he alleged that certain people had threatened him and beaten him, and he had the video evidence and stuff like that. So we sat with him, we interviewed him, and we carried out an investigation.
So he was a client?
He was a client, yeah.
Moti will also be a client?
Today.
Moti is your client?
No, the company, there's a, Zunaid Moti owns a group of companies called the Moti Group. And today...
Now I'm talking Zunaid Moti.
Yes, Zunaid Moti is not a client.
It's not your client?
No, but he
owns... You don't work for him?
No, he owns a group of companies, and the group of companies are clients of ours.
How many passports do you have?
4.
Yesterday you said 3.
Yeah, so because my passport was running short of pages, I got a second passport. So I have 2 South African passports, 1 Irish passport and 1 British passport.
No, you did an interview, I can't remember, with you in a book where you said you've got 4 passports.
Yes, I have 4 now as well.
Yeah, South Africa, Ireland, Britain, and then the 4th one?
South Africa.
So you have 2 passports of South Africa?
Yes, because when you want to go to a country, you have to have pages in your passport. If you If your pages run out, you can't enter a country because you need to have so many blank pages. Also, if you want to get a visa to go somewhere in your passport, you have to leave your passport at an embassy.
No, but those are passport books. Passports means passport, as in
Yes, I'm talking passport. You have
the one that is full. It doesn't matter if it's full. I just wanted to know, because when I say how many passports do you have, I mean, which many countries do you belong to?
three.
Three.
Yeah,
South Africa, Britain, Ireland
correct.
only.
Yes.
So you have 3 passports, not 4.
Oh, actual
Passports
documents,
mean
I have
you're-
4. I have 2 South African passports, obviously valid.
Thank you so much, honorable members. That time has come to an end. Honorable Matthys. No, I'm not taking, we are pressed for time. I don't want to come and find myself in trouble with the latter speakers. Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. O'Sullivan. Have you ever applied for security clearance in any country?
Only in South Africa. In fact, what happened was when I filled in the forms and I handed them in, they said to me, but you've got dual nationality. And I said, yes. They said, then you can't get security clearance.
So did you submit your application though?
I handed it to, I can't remember the name of the person now, a general. When you hand it, you have to be, when you hand it in, you have to have a sit-down meeting with them and they go through your forms. And when I sat down, this would have been back in 24, 25 years ago. And when I sat down with him, he said, oh, but hang on a minute. You had dual nationality. And I said, yes. He said, then you can't get security clearance.
So there was no process that followed?
No, it stopped.
Have you sent any messages or communicated with Denayo Mokwela?
Who?
Denayo Mokwele.
I don't know. Who's that person?
You've never sent her any messages. She's the one that has been arrested with General Kamalo for apparently submitting illegal qualifications.
Ah, the brigadier.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you call her a little girl?
No. I requested a meeting with her because we wanted to find out. And she said to me, I'm not prepared to speak to you. You must speak to HR of the police.
And then you didn't say anything. You didn't refer to her as a little girl.
No. In fact, I sent her an email, I think. Can I pull up the email and read it to you?
I don't think it's necessary at the moment. If you're saying you didn't, it's fine. We will move on. Have you ever been charged in any other countries? Or have you ever been charged in any other countries?
No,
So you've got no convictions in any other countries?
none at all.
When you left South Africa now recently, when did you leave?
I can't remember the date, but it was last year.
And then when did you return?
I came in and out. So I went to, I think so I went to the UK, I came back, I went to Australia, and then to Fiji. I came back from Australia, and then I went back to the
I'm
UK.
just kind of asking you, when did you come back?
I can't remember the dates.
So we can confirm with Home Affairs.
Yes, you can confirm with Home Affairs.
No problem. Did you provide a security clearance certificate to Parliament? Or you just wrote to us saying that your life was under threat?
I don't understand. Did I?
Now I'm saying, was there a security assessment done? Did you provide a security assessment from a credible institution?
No.
So it was Parliament acted and provided state resources for your security based on your email saying that you have a security your life is
I
in
sup-
danger.
What I supplied to Parliament was the evidence.
Oh, what was the evidence?
The I don't have social media, but somebody downloaded it and provided it to me, and I sent that to,
Oh, it was social media, okay.
yeah, where they were threatening me, and they said that I should be shot or there should be a shootout, and whoops, there should be a shootout with me.
And is that in your experience, is that should be something that, credible for a government institution based on a social media post?
So,
Instead of doing an assessment, because my understanding is that a security assessment can be based on evidence that there may be a threat.
so if you have a single message where a person's threatening you, then I think that would call for a bit more of an investigation. But we're talking about, I think, 20 or 30 from different people on social
What I'm
media.
saying is that you submitted evidence, right? That there are people that are threatening you on social media, but there wasn't an assessment on whether those threats were legit or not. And then Parliament came to the rescue and provided you with security using state resources without a security assessment.
That would appear to be the case.
Okay. Let's talk about AfriForum. When did you become a member of AfriForum?
In 2016?
2016. Do they fund you?
No.
So, and then beyond you paying your membership fee?
I pay 120 Rand a month.
120 a month?
Yeah.
Must be nice to be AfriForum. And then do you fund them for anything else outside of your membership fee?
No, I don't.
For cases you have never given them any money, donations in kind?
I think I might have given them a donation.
More or less, how much do you remember?
I think it was a bottle of Jameson whiskey.
Oh, so they shared it amongst themselves, so it was for the director or something?
I gave it to Kali Creel.
Oh, okay. And you said in 2016? 2016. And what informed your decision to become a member of AfriForum?
In 2016, I got invited to a meeting with Kali Creel. And I think it was Mampela, what's her name? Mampela, the, I'm trying to remember, we call her Ma. She phoned me, she said she wanted me to have a meeting with Kali Creel. So I went to the meeting with Kali Creel. And Kali Creel told me that AfriForum wanted to set up an anti-corruption unit and to have internal investigations going. And would I be prepared to sit with them and give them advice about how to do, not how to do the investigations, but how to set up such a unit. So I sat with them. I think we had several meetings, and then I can't remember the name of the lady now, but they introduced me to a lady who became the head of anti-corruption at AfriForum. And then I consulted with them probably 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And I subsequently found out that they then started that unit, and I believe they offered position to Advocate Kharinel and some of the other people.
Mr. Sullivan, you're not really answering the question. The question was, what informed your decision, not how it happened and the meetings, but from what I understand, and I think we can safely summarize that it was because they wanted to set up an anti-criminal unit.
It informed that, and plus the fact that they had a